So in this video we're going to be looking at the Ielts writing, and we're going to be focusing in on part 1. So if you're new to Ielts and you're not really sure about what tasks you have to face or you might face in this part of the exam, check the link to this video and that will actually run through what you have to do. Because in this video we are going to be focusing on mistakes that students make which cost them marks, and it's a kind of checklist of things that you must not do, and if you don't do them, well then you're going to get high marks, band 7, band 8. So let's have a look, shall we? First of all, not writing enough. Now in the first part of Ielts they tell you your report should be at least 150 words, and when Cambridge say that, they mean that. So if you write 120 or 100 words, you're going to lose a lot of marks. So make sure that you write, I would say 160, 170. That's a really good amount of words. Alright. Not using figures and numbers to prove what you say. You're usually dealing with pie charts or tables or graphs, and they're full of numbers and figures. You are expected to use these figures and numbers to prove what you're saying. And again, there's a link to another video here which is called Magic Numbers, which will show you how to, understand these numbers and numbers to look for and how you can describe these numbers. But make sure everything you're saying is backed up with figures and numbers. You have to use them. Using incorrect figures. Now, when you first look at your graph or your pie chart, spend 1 or 2 minutes understanding exactly, what is on the X and the Y axes. Okay, is it time along the X axis, and on the Y axis, this one, is it in percentage, is it in millions, is it in billions? You have to get your facts right, because if you write incorrectly, again, you're going to lose marks for that. Not using descriptive language. Again, in the question they clearly ask you to compare. Okay, so you should be and also commenting on the main trends. And if you're going to do this, you have to describe what you're seeing is something, not just, you can't just say it's increasing. You've got to say it's rapidly increasing or gradually increasing, or did the numbers of tourists plummet? You've got to be descriptive. Again, it's not difficult. You just have to learn some descriptive vocabulary for describing graphs. Giving information that is not correct. Well, I've kind of already talked about this with the figures. This is kind of similar. Maybe you don't understand the graph and you actually start writing things that are incorrect. And this is a huge problem if you do this, and you will lose a lot of marks. So again, don't be in a hurry, take your time, organize what you're saying, and make sure that you have understood what the graph or the pie chart or the table is actually showing you. Providing explanations for what you see. Now this is logical, especially if you're used to writing essays and things like this. A lot of the time you say something and then you say why it happens. But in the Ielts exam, in part 1, the report, you do not have to do this. So for example, if you're dealing with a graph that is talking about the numbers of tourists rapidly increasing, you don't have to say why or speculate why they are increasing. They're not interested in that. The examiners don't care. They want you to pick out the main features and trends, basically, of what you're seeing. That's what they ask you to do, so that's what you should do. So never explain things or why or justify things. Spending too much time on the report. Now this is a big no-no, mainly because The report is 40% of your mark. The essay is 60% of your mark. So the essay is more important. And again, remember, they ask you to write 150 words. So they're telling you that you should be able to write a good answer in around 150 words, not 300. If you're writing 300 words for your report, it's a little excessive. Number one, you're writing way too much, so you're probably spending far too much time on this part, which is not a good idea. Also, maybe you are explaining things that you see or giving incorrect information. So generally, be very careful of that. I would not recommend writing over 200 words ever for a report. That's just too much, and it's not necessary. Save this time, energy, and effort for the essay, which is coming. Not checking over your work. Now again, I would do both compositions and then go back and check over your work. If you have the time, always check over your work. You'll know yourself as a student. Do you make spelling mistakes? Do you make grammar mistakes? Is your vocabulary a little bit simplistic? What do you usually do? Okay? Be wary of the mistakes you usually make and go over them and check them. Every error that you correct yourself will help your overall marks. And again, this is standard practice to improve your writing marks, really. I hope this has been useful. If you have any questions and queries about part 1 of the IELTS exam, please get in touch. There are also lots and lots of videos we have online of written examples, and I highly recommend this. This is the best way to learn of how to tackle these questions, which can be a little bit challenging. Okay, so enjoy your IELTS exam. Thanks for watching. Bye.